We're live. We're live. Oh, we're live. I do a live happy dance to start to welcome you as a guest. I'm super excited to have you. Guys, today we are here live with Lara Nemirovsky. I was worried I was going to get that wrong. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today.
Of course.
I love the painting behind you. Can you tell me more about it, or is it just something your parents chose?
Yeah, so my dad's dad was a painter, and my mom's a painter too. So, like, our house is filled with, like, my mom's artwork and his artwork. It's just, like, painting after painting after painting.
That's
and
so cool.
Actually, the grandfather who I had an I name, to be named after, yeah.
He made that?
Yes.
Holy cow, it's really beautiful. I love the colors. Earlier, before we got online, we were talking about your name. Would you like to tell the chat? Basically, your grandfather's name starts with an I.
Yeah, his name is Igor, and so my parents, when they were naming me, wanted to choose an I name, and as my mom said, they went through pretty much every I name they could find in, like, a dictionary. I was almost named Iris, I think, but yeah, they found this name and they really liked it, and So
And now you're Yara. And I found out it was a Brazilian name today. And Danny's like, yep, everyone in the chat knows Danny because she takes care of all of my tech stuff. So that's super cool. So first of all, congratulations on Ridley Jones.
Thank you.
What a huge deal. I have her here, guys, so you can see how cute she is. I know you've done a bunch of, you've done theater and you sing and all these fun things. First, I want to get into how you came upon the audition for Ridley and what you thought about it at the beginning and how you thought she sounded or what her deal was. Like when you lay down the tracks for the MP3, what were you thinking? How did you prepare for this?
Yeah, so we got the audition kind of like any other. You know, I have my little stack of previous auditions in my mom's closet, our booth. And I don't know, from the beginning I really liked Ridley. I could kind of, I guess, identify with her. You know, she has a little bit of snark, a little sass, but she's like, she's really nice and, you know, she's just caring for everyone. And in terms of voice, I just use my natural voice. It records pretty high, it has kind of a bright sound, so I don't have to alter it or anything, which I think is really cool because then it's really like I am her instead of kind of trying to be her.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, you know, I did the audition, and what's actually funny is I remember I had to do a song for it because she sings, and what's really funny is I actually thought I hadn't done great. So when I got the call back, I was just like super relieved, but I was also really excited. And so, you know, I go in for the callback, I sing my song, and I feel really good about it.
And the callback was in person.
Yes, the callback was in person. So that was a really great way to meet a couple people, especially before, you know, everything happened and we were moved to home.
Were you nervous when you went in, or you were like, I'm cool, I got this?
I was definitely nervous. I get very nervous before auditions, no matter how many I've done. But, you know, I feel like once you're in there, as soon as you kind of say the first line or you sing the first word, you're, like, just fine, and you kind of just go through it. And as long as you're enjoying it and you do your best, then those people also know you. Like, maybe the role isn't perfect for you, but they know your voice, and maybe they'll find a character that suits you. So I think I was really lucky to kind of land on Ridley as my voice.
Absolutely. And I mean, you talk like an actor that understands these things, because absolutely every time we go into an audition, even if they don't book us for that role, we're hoping maybe will make sense for another role. We never know, right? So you just go in and do your best. That's so cool. And I can tell that you're also a singer because you commented on you have a bright voice, and those are words that you understand, you know, voice placement and what's going on. And that's really cool because you're the youngest actor I've had on my Twitch channel. And, you know, yeah, so welcome. You just got the Guinness Book of World Records for that. But, you know, I've had people who are like Bob Bergen. They've been doing this for decades, you know. Yeah. And so they're like, back in 1985, when Lara wasn't even born. But it's really cool to see somebody like you who's so young, pursuing this, succeeding, and also understanding sometimes we get it, sometimes we don't.
Yeah. And
in this case, you did.
No, that's why, like, I feel super lucky that I got this role because I feel like, in a way, I kind of stumbled into voiceover. Like, I think I started about maybe 3 years ago, and it was kind of just a thing where my agent had been like, oh, do you want to do a voiceover audition? And I was like, sure. It wasn't something that I was like, ooh, I really want to do this. But after kind of learning about it, it was something that I realized that I really love, and now it's like kind of one of my favorite parts about kind of like this acting theater world. And I don't know if like I hadn't done that, I don't know if I would have been like here today, because since then I've been doing more and more voiceover auditions, and I mean now I'm Ridley, and it's just like really amazing.
The craziest.
You need more than a drink. You need an oh so delicate balance of creamy, fruity, and refreshing. You need real black tea blended with flavor-packed ice cream and sorbet. You need the new Iced Tea Freeze, only at Baskin-Robbins.
Jason, did you know Geico could save you hundreds on car insurance and a whole lot more?
Cool.
So what are you waiting for? Michaela Maroney to get your Frisbee off the roof?
I'll get it.
Thank you, Michaela.
Dude, get it. I'm not getting it. You get it. You threw it. It's your frisbee.
Geico. Switch today and see all the ways you could save.
Name a...
The new Total Support pouch from Hanes can help you achieve balance. Vista mesh panels for perfect separation and support. Secure. Separated. Supported. Hanes. Find your balance. Vista new Total Support pouch from Hanes.
The main character. How neat. Also, the cool thing about voiceover is you don't have to learn your lines. You just go in and read them. Isn't that awesome?
You can record an audition in your pajamas and they'll never know.
And they'll never know. Absolutely. So, okay, so you do this callback, and then how much later do they tell you that you booked it? Who calls you to tell you?
So I think it was a couple weeks later, I'm pretty sure. I was at my school. I'm pretty sure I had just gotten out of a volleyball game. It was like super random. We're in the parking lot and my mom has my agent on the phone and my parents are both like, I wonder what it is. Not suspicious at all. And, they kind of hand me the phone and, my agent tells me, oh my God, you're Ridley. And I'm like, what the heck? And then, I get off the phone and I share the news with my parents and it's just kind of this like really joyous moment, but then I have to go back to normal because I can't tell anybody about it and I just have to pretend that it never happened. But yeah, it was just a really sweet moment and really exciting.
Did you know, when I booked the penguin that I play, I just remember not knowing much about it. It was this thing for Netflix. I don't think I was even told who created it or anything. Did you understand it could be a huge Netflix hit? Or you're like, oh, well, I'm playing the main character for this thing, and who knows what the heck will happen with it?
I think I understand that it was, a series, because since Chris Nee created it, and she's created,
Doc McStuffins,
something as big as that, I think I realized it, but I don't think it really quite registered until I was a bit into the process, and I feel like even when it came out, it was this whole other wave of realization and how it's so surreal that, oh my God, I have a show on Netflix. If I, go on to Netflix and I search Ridley Jones, it's there. It's just kind of weird, in a way.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just really fun.
Had you watched Doc McStuffins, or were you a fan of the animations Chris had done, or not necessarily?
I didn't watch. I think about when it was coming out around the age I was, I didn't watch too much of it, but I've seen it before, and I've always loved the animation. So when I saw that Ridley was kind of going to be like that, it was really cool because, knowing how many people like Doc McStuffins, because, it's a really cool show and it has beautiful animation.
Yeah.
And then seeing that, with Ridley and, all our voices together, that was just kind of mind-blowing.
That's so neat. And so, see, I kind of sort of sing. I can sing in character, but you sing for real. How many songs have you had to sing for Ridley? I've caught up on most episodes, but I haven't finished it.
Oh, okay.
Just one.
Yes, I think from the first season it's around 20. So, a lot, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And every time, do you practice it a ton at home? Do you have a vocal coach that helps you? Do you just go, I got this?
Oh no, I practice a lot. I probably stress out more than I should about the songs. I'll get it probably a couple days before I sing it, and usually when I have, because I have vocal lessons almost every week, maybe a couple weeks I'll take off, but so I might sing my Ridley song with my teacher, and so then it's refined and really kind of more solid, not just winging it, and then I'll stress out probably, and then yeah, then I'll just kind of go do it, I guess.
Then when you're in the booth recording, is there somebody like a vocal coach saying, oh, we got to work on this? Or for the most part, they're just trusting that you're showing up prepared?
So Michael and Chris, who are the composers, are always there. And so it's the two of them. They'll listen, one's doing the lyrics, one's doing the music. So if they're like, can you maybe hit this word a bit, or can you maybe change the rhythm of this a bit, they'll kind of walk me through it or ask me what they want to change, and then we'll just do another take and then kind of do that until they feel like they have a take that's good enough.
Holy cow. Yeah, I would be very nervous, but you're also a pro because you've been singing since you were really young, right?
Yes, I have. I think I've been singing since I was like 7.
When did you discover you could sing or that you liked to? Do you remember that moment, or you did a school play?
So I guess I've kind of been singing my whole life, or I've been like surrounded by music. Like when I was really young, like my dad would sing songs for me to go to sleep. So I guess I kind of was always around music. I don't remember like the exact moment, but because what's funny is like my parents tell me that, and like I actually remember I used to be pretty shy and I didn't really want to perform. I remember there was one talent show at my school. I think I was around 7. And I was so nervous to go on stage that my mom didn't think I was going to be able to. Like I was sitting against the wall, like hugging my knees with like so many butterflies in my stomach. But then again, once I was on stage, I sang the first note. I was like fine. And then when I was for a couple shows, I did Yada. My friend introduced me to that, so that was like when I did my first couple like mini shows. And there are some very hilarious videos where you can just see like my face light up, like ooh, I'm performing.
Yeah.
And I think ever since then, I've kind of just loved it.
Yeah, that's so cool, and it's really beautiful that you can share that you were really, really nervous before going on. And then, once you're on stage, the first note comes out and you're good, right? And I think that happens to so many performers, but people who are trying to pursue performing or who haven't done it, they think that we just get up there and everything's always fine. But we do have to overcome a little bit of nerves and use that energy and turn it into something else,
Yeah, and the thing is, like, it hasn't stopped. Like, maybe not as nervous as that, but, like, I still get nervous before, well, obviously I haven't done many like shows in a while, but like I'll still get nervous before a performance, or I'll even get nervous maybe before doing a song for Ridley. Like even though I'm not maybe performing in front of like an audience, I'm still performing, so I still kind of get in that performance ready mood, I guess.
What do you do? Do you shake it out? Do you breathe deeply? How do you you just do it?
I kind of just go in and do it. Maybe I'll do like a couple jumps before going in, but before that, you kind of just have to like suck up all that fear and nerves and just do it, because if you don't, then what's the point?
Then what's the point? Exactly. And while you're doing it, you do enjoy it, right?
Yes, definitely.
I think that's what we remember. We remember the feeling on stage, and we remember how we felt reading that character while we were recording. We're like, oh, I love that. Even if I get nervous, I really enjoy it. So that's part of it, Is there something about recording for Ridley that was one of your favorite parts? Getting direction from Maria, or is there a specific thing that you remember that you're like, oh, that was one of my favorite days?
So one of my favorite days is probably, I feel like I have a lot of fun now that I really know, like, Maria and Jen, and now that I know Ridley, like, I kind of just go in there and I'm just, like, talking. But back at one of the early episodes when I had one group record before everything shut down, it was just really nice because it's like you're not doing one line 3 times in a row, you're doing a scene. You're doing a scene with other people, and, it was kind of a way for me to kind of associate a voice with a body, I guess, and now I can always picture them when I'm like reading the scripts. Like I can picture their voice, so it's not just me kind of doing a cold read. Like I can imagine how the scene would sound, and so I feel like I'm really glad that I was able to do that before.
Who did you get to record that time with?
I got to record with David, who is Dudley.
He's so
Tyler,
funny. It's so interesting.
know.
You know, it's like,
Yeah. Tyler, who's Dante, the dinosaur. Ashlyn, who's Ismet, the mummy. And then I also got to record with Lorraine, who plays Peaches. So it was kind of a great way to do a little group episode.
yeah, so cool. And I do think that at the beginning, when you don't know what other characters sound like, you're just sort of imagining something. But then when you get to specifics, like someone like Dudley, who's so particular, and he's so good at that voice, it's a really, really cute one. And he does a great singing job, too. I'm so impressed with this whole show. Did you know who Sutton Foster was before you started working on this?
Okay. So, yes. So, because, I mean, she's like a big Broadway name, so, like, of course I knew who she was, and, like, you know, I really like her. Like, I like the show she's been in. I think she has an amazing voice. So,
Apex Legends action figures. Octane, Hit and Run, Pathfinder, Team Lift, Caustic, Revenant, Raid, Voidwalker, Bloodhound, Youngblood, Mirage. Highly detailed figures. 25 points of articulation. Build your squads and collect them all. Apex Legends action figures. Figures and supply bins each sold separately. From Jack Pacific.
the day.
It's stylish, fuel efficient, and absolutely reliable. No wonder it's America's best-selling car. Choose the Camry or Camry Hybrid that's just right for you. We make it easy. Toyota, let's go places.
Okay, I got it.
Well, it's got lots of pepperoni, and the crust is brushed with a buttery garlic sauce and sprinkled with Parmesan.
I mean, we could do something sort of like that, ish.
Wait, is that a cheese and pepperoni stuffed crust?
Little Caesars.
It's a pepperoni ambush!
No, 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 no!
No!
Little Caesars! We're not Big Pizza, we're Little Caesars. The new pepperoni stuffed crust, just $10. Pizza.
I was there, and Chris comes over and tells me that Sutton Foster is my mom. I can't even tell you my reaction. Like, I was so happy. I was, like, ecstatic. Like, I don't know. I was just, like, 10 times happier that day. It was kind of amazing, like, that someone this big was, like, my mom. So it was, no offense to my real mom, but it was just kind of, I don't know, it just kind of gave me an extra boost of energy that day, you know, before I went into record. And yeah, it was just.
Have you gotten to record with her even remotely? Because I know she's in New York.
And yeah, because she lives in New York. But she was going to come out to LA the week of March 18th. So 1 week after everything shut down. And I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Yeah, but hopefully in the near future.
Yeah, I do remember I went in to record for Ridley right before the shutdown, and everyone was like, what's happening? Well, wear a mask or something. We don't know yet. Clean your hands, sort of. And it was kind of a scary time. And then did production stop for a little bit until they figured out how to do stuff from home? Or do you remember how that went down?
Yeah, so they stopped for a bit, and then they started, you know, reaching out to people like, oh, can you record at home? And since we usually record auditions at home, I know, like, some people invested in just getting a booth.
Yeah.
But we resorted to using my mom's closet.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
80,000 blankets to soundproof, and then it's just kind of weird that, like, at least most of season 1 is recorded in my mom's closet, but I mean, I'm glad that, you know, it sounded good enough that they were able to use it. Like, the songs I had to do in person. But yeah, I feel like since, you know, everything else shut down, like if you're doing a TV show live action, like that probably got shut down. So I think it was really cool that we were still able to continue the show through quarantine. And yeah, so, you know, you could look forward to that each week.
Absolutely. So how many episodes have you recorded?
Okay, so for season 1, I think there were a lot. I'm not even sure, like, but they released, you know, the 6 on Netflix.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it was just cool to see it.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I mean, I know that there's a lot more, and I'm wondering, like, because I recorded a lot more, but they're not in the first 6. So I was like, "How?
Yeah.
This is ginormous!" Like they.
Yeah, no, like so they dropped the first 6 in that season 1, but I know that we recorded more, so like I'm excited to see, when they come out, and I think if the people who like the show are also going to be excited to see those too.
Yeah. When could you finally tell your friends that you were on this?
So, I mean, like, I told my family and things. I actually, like, my friends knew that I was, like, recording a show, but I didn't tell them the name. And then I was so rude to my friend. I was, like, drawing it out and out. I was like, ooh, maybe I'm on this show. Because Chris had 4 shows, like, dropping. So
Right.
I had showed that article to my friend, and I was like, ooh, guess what show? And she was like, is it this show? And it wasn't Ridley. And I was like, maybe. Like, I was drawing her on and, like, making her think.
Yeah.
I was, like, on a totally another show, so she was super surprised when she found out it was Ridley.
Oh, and have they seen it?
I think so, yeah. A lot of my friends have started to see it or maybe binged it. I don't know. And, like, my family's seen it, and, yeah.
Did you do a group watch? Did you do, like, a whole day where you were just dedicated to watching it?
Yeah, so me and my mom pretty much binge watched all 6 episodes in a row, and then I rewatched a couple with my dad. And what's funny is in our backyard we have like this huge screen that you can roll down, and we put a projector.
Oh, cool!
So it was like huge Ridley, probably blasting to the entire neighborhood.
Cool!
But yeah, no, like I watched it with my mom, but then like rewatching it with my dad, it's kind of fun to like watch what he thinks of it, and then also kind of looking for maybe Easter eggs that I didn't see the first time.
Oh, cool.
Because
Are there things like what have you noticed that you missed the first time?
not like not like Easter eggs, but just like the people who made the animation, it's so meticulous and thought through. Like you can even just like if someone's talking, you can see the rest of the eyes team kind of just like their facial expressions, or maybe they shift, like everything's thought out.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, maybe they're talking and like in the background Lou, who's the stonehead, will pass by, or an elephant will come through, and like you'll just notice maybe like other characters in the museum talking to each other. And it's kind of funny because it's almost like hints of, ooh, the next episode will have this character, so we're just going to stick them in the background of this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was just fun to like look out for.
Yeah, for sure. Is there something that was really, really difficult, like a challenge that you had? I mean, besides the singing at the beginning, where you're like, I'm not getting this episode, or something's being a little tricky, and Maria or Chris or someone helped you through. I'm always curious when those things come up and how you sort of work through them.
So there's one episode that's not one of the 6 that is very like more emotional and sad. So it's not that like I couldn't get it, but it was just kind of hard to go through because like I mean, I guess I'm definitely like invested in the series, so kind of seeing like, oh, this happened, and you're just kind of like, oh man. And so I don't know, that was just kind of like a sad day, because it's just kind of hard to get through. But like I know it'll look good like when it's all finished, so it was definitely like worth it and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I think that they're keeping it very real, and it is an animation that teaches life lessons. When things happen, how do you overcome them? And even at the beginning, Ridley's like, I got it, I know what to do, and then mom and grandma are like, hey, well, actually there are some things we have to pay attention to, and you're like, oh right, let's take some notes. So it is kind of a cool way to show someone that's coming into their own and maturing and learning how to take care of the museum. That's really cool. So I wanted to ask you about you toured with a theater company.
Yes, so in 5th grade, this was like my first professional like debut, like my first musical theater thing, because like ever since I've been into musical theater, it's been like, ooh, Broadway, like that's the dream. And so in 5th grade, I was really lucky to be able to be part of the School of Rock tour. I don't know, that experience was just amazing. Like, I don't know how else to describe it.
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think I would have done
Were
it.
you auditioning for a lot of theater things here in LA?
Yeah, I was auditioning for like regional like theater companies or shows. I don't know, there was just an open call for School of Rock. My mom was like, "Do you want to go?" And I was like, "Sure." Like, it was honestly kind of as carefree as that. And then, you know, I was really nervous actually.
And you were in 5th grade. That's crazy.
Yeah. So yeah.
So then what did this tour consist of? Was it like, how long were you on the road for?
So I was on the road for 6 months. Yeah.
Wow.
So
Mom, how did that go? How was that travel?
5th grade abroad. No. But yeah, I think it was just a really cool. It was just a cool experience. You know, like I can't speak. You're doing like shows a week, which can get like pretty tiring, and then like you have to do like school, and then I think I've always loved like traveling though, and like I've always been like, ooh, I want to go to every state in the U.S. just so I can say I have, and so I feel like this was kind of a cool way to check off a couple, because I think we went to 17 different cities. So
Holy cow. And is it always on a bus, or you're flying on a plane?
if it was I don't think we really went. It was usually flying. Maybe like a bus from the hotel to the airport, but
Yeah.
no, it was usually flying, and like travel days were very fun.
They're exhausting. Yeah.
So like sometimes if we were in a city for only 1 week, it's because Monday was like our off day. Monday's your travel day, so it's kind of like do a city, then you're traveling, and then you're kind of like on to the next.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. And so you were doing not homeschooling, but I guess they had a teacher travel with you guys?
Yeah, so they had some studio teachers travel with us. And so yeah, we had to do school with them, or at some point I'd even do school in the hotel room with my mom, which could be very frustrating.
But you were prepared for the pandemic. You had done
Yes.
this before.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But I feel like one of the cool.
You need more than a drink. You need an oh so delicate balance of creamy, fruity, and refreshing. You need real black tea blended with flavor-packed ice cream and sorbet. You need the new iced tea freeze, only at Baskin Robbins.
Parts.
You got the magic touch. You got a magic touch. You got a magic touch.
About being on tour.
Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Sign up now.
One of the stops was LA. So first of all, that was cool. I could be home. I could see like my dad and my cat and all my friends. But since it was really magical to be performing at the Pantages, because that's where I saw my first show like ever. So to kind of be able to go see and appreciate theater there, and then also be able to like say I performed there.
Yeah.
That it was just really just such a great feeling.
Yeah, that's got to be amazing. So for those of you who don't know LA, in the chat, the Pantages is the big theater where the shows come to. So it's like a really exciting thing to be able to perform there, especially like you said, if you've seen your first show there. What was this character like? Because she's kind of bossy, right?
She is. I feel like I could also kind of relate to her. She's very smart. She can be a bit bossy. If like you know the movie School of Rock, she's the girl who Miranda Cosgrove plays. She's the little band manager, kind of ordering everybody around.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just really fun to play her because she gets to be like in charge of everybody. But yeah, it was just.
So there you were singing 6 shows a week. You have prepped your voice for that kind of work. So Ridley must have been easy because you have like one song every month.
Yeah, but I still kind of get that, again, that nervous energy. Like, even if you're not singing it every day, there's still kind of that rush of excitement, but also kind of nervousness that I get before singing.
Yeah, for sure. And do you feel like at the end of the tour you were like, it's good to be home, or were you like, oh, I could have done this for another 6 months? What were you feeling in terms of the performances?
Honestly, probably a difficult decision because I almost could have stayed another 6 months, but at the same time, by the time I ended the tour, it was August. I could come home like for the fresh start of the school year. It wouldn't be like you're coming home in the middle of the year.
Yeah.
And so I feel like, although it would have been fun to keep going, I feel like it was a good experience in its own, and that it was probably the best time to come home.
Yeah.
And also, like, I kind of missed living in LA and like my dad, because I was with my mom the whole time.
Did he get to meet up with you in a couple of cities?
Yeah, he came to a couple cities here and there, but other than that, it was pretty much just like 6 months, or more like 5 months since like a month was here. But,
Yeah. That's crazy. I do admire people who go on tour because it's a lot of, unpacking, repacking, hotel, stay here, move there. It's not, it's really fun because you see a bunch of cities, but it can be really exhausting as well.
Yeah.
So what does it feel like to be a member of the nation's youngest Shakespeare troupe?
Oh, yeah. So how old was I when I started? I think like 8. Yeah, so it's a drama club, and I don't know, I think I just done a summer camp there. And after that, I think I did 4 Shakespeare shows, and I don't know, it's just kind of
4.
Yes. And it was just, I don't know, it's just kind of a fun way. Like, Shakespeare can be difficult. But
very difficult. It's difficult for adults. I can't imagine doing Shakespeare at 8.
Yeah, no, I feel like it was like a cool way to kind of experience that type of theater because it's very like wordy, and it's kind of a different sense of communicating to the audience what you're trying to say, because I can be reading Shakespeare and I have like no idea what's happening. Like, I have to ask my mom, what does this mean? Like, what is old-timey English? But,
so what were the plays that you did?
Okay, so I did A Midsummer Night's Dream. I did The Tempest. I did Macbeth. And then, what was the last one? I did Titus Andronicus.
Wait, so, and this was all done by kids?
Yes.
Wow. So who did you play in Macbeth?
I played a couple people, but probably the main part about them was Hackett.
Oh my gosh, so good! Yes!
Yeah.
Got a little witchiness about you.
Yeah, that was probably my favorite show. I don't know, I really liked that monologue, and that was also like a good cast because I feel like, because there's like different age brackets. There's ones that are just like teenagers, and then there's ones that are like even younger. I think it was a bit younger than 8 you could start, or it might have been 8 that you could start. And so, like, I feel like Macbeth is kind of the perfect in the middle, that it could have, like, strong leads who, like, were old enough to understand the language and carry the show, but then, like, everybody was able to, kind of be a part of it, and it kind of all came together and was really fun.
Wow, and so you would do, this wasn't just one summer, it was the 4 shows you did in a span of
so
years?
They were, like, a couple, probably, like, 4 years, because...
Okay.
Maybe, yeah. It was probably like a month or 2 for like rehearsals probably, or something like that. And so, I think, but like, it's not like you'd come once a week. Like, you pretty much came more than once a week, so like you'd have enough time to rehearse and get it down. And I mean, it's kind of like, to me, surprising that like kids can like pull off a full-blown Shakespeare play in like that span of time. It was just fun, like, to be a part of it.
Is that, and that's here in LA? No.
Yes, it is here in LA.
Cool. Are you still a part of it? Is it something you'll do again?
I might. I haven't done one in a while. I know, like, my mom helps out with it, so we're still, like, connected to it. Maybe, yeah. In the future, I'll do another one.
Yeah, I guess we have to see where theater's going with all this craziness in the world.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's such a big deal. I figured maybe you guys recited sonnets or learned some basic iambic pentameter, but like performing a whole show, and Midsummer is probably one of the easier ones to understand, but Macbeth is really intense,
Yeah.
Wow, that's a really cool thing. Congratulations. And I mean, again, this is a lot of the people who watch these interviews or who follow me want to be actors or voice actors or don't know how to start pursuing it. And as you can see, Yara here has put so much time into training. You see a vocal coach once a week, which is a huge deal because you have to be prepared for the next big project. If Ridley had to sing and you didn't sing, there probably wouldn't be a chance, So the fact that you're just prepared for all of these things is amazing.
Yeah, no. Like, that's why I really like that she does sing, because it's kind of a way of, like, mushing multiple things I like to do into kind of, like, one big project. Like, if she just spoke, like, it would still be really fun, but I feel like the fact that she sings kind of adds, like, a little extra something.
Yeah.
So
it's funny. One day, when I was going to go record, they were like, "Okay, Carolina, here's your script, and below is the lyrics to the song." And I'm like, "What song? Mama Penguin doesn't sing. What are you talking about?" And they're like, "Oh, sorry, wrong character." But I almost fainted because unless I have prepared and rehearsed a ton, I am not going to show up at a studio and sing a song just fine. I'm sure you could. Do you like performing on the spot if I asked you to sing, or would that make you very nervous?
Probably not, since I'm, like, not really warmed up. I'd probably sound like a frog, but...
Frog? You have the sweetest voice. You could never sound like a frog.
Thank you. But,
no, I just had some people in the chat saying, could she sing? But I know that that's a tall order, so I was wondering, but you totally don't have to. Oh my gosh, so incredible. And so, let me think. Chris Nee has come out with, have you seen We the People?
I did. It was really, really good.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was just songs.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know. I thought it was a show that kind of went into, what the U.S. was about. And I didn't realize it was just, every little episode is like a 4-minute song that's teaching you some important stuff.
No, it's kind of like a modernized version of, like, Schoolhouse Rock in a way, because it's kind of like giving these, like, important lessons, but, like, in a fun way through song. And that was, like, I really liked that show, and I thought it was really cool that, like, I knew the person who created it. Or, like, I remember, like, there was, like, a We the People and a Ridley Jones, like, billboard right next to each other, and I just thought that was, like, so sweet because, for Chris. But yeah, it's a really good show, and I feel like it kind of helps kids, like, understand maybe complicated things in, like, an easier way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like, I knew what some of those things were, but, like, I still really enjoyed watching it. And yeah.
I guess I was just thinking, like, we're so lucky to be able to have worked on a show that Chris created, because Chris has been doing great things for a very long time now, but I've read so many amazing articles coming out just about, like, how she creates and everything that, like, she's putting into it, and how I love that, I forget her name, the little Egyptian mummy.
Oh, Ismet?
First, they're sour.
You have the answer? 1776? You got it.
And then they're sweet. Sour Patch Kids. Sour, sweet, gone.
Ismet has 2 dads. And that's like a beautiful thing that it's just showing kids.
Start the party, celebrate, everything going my way. I'm feeling good, good, good. I'm feeling good.
Hey, this can be a thing, and in animation, and it's normal, and and Ismet is a fantastic human being, and so it is educated in a really lovely way. What was the cast reunion like when Ridley came out? I saw pictures with David and Chris and a few other people.
It was really sweet because like I haven't like seen those people in obviously a really long time, and I feel like it was kind of just a fun way to like bond and reconnect, and in like a way almost like reintroducing yourself. Not like that we don't know each other, but it's kind of like, oh hi, how are you? Like how have you been? And it was really cool because like I'll see Marie and Jen like when I'm recording Ridley, but like
it's like work.
haven't seen them in like the cast in a long time, or Chris. So just the fact that like everybody was there together was really cool.
Shoot, I just lost you for a second. And we're back. Are we back? My internet's unstable. Did you lose me?
No.
Okay. Hello. Chat. Are we good? Because you froze, and then I froze, and then I don't know what happened. But it's all good. Super. Oh, thanks, Danny. So let's talk about your other voiceover roles, because you've booked Blaze and the Monster Machines.
Yes.
Who is Violet, and how did that go down?
So Violet's like this little purple unicorn, and that was like a really fun kind of guest role on that show, because it's funny because since animation takes like a long time, I think I had recorded it like a year before it came out, so like seeing it and like hearing my voice from a year ago was kind of funny. But
is it weird when you hear yourself? Do you get weirded out, or you're like used to it by now?
Kind of. Like sometimes I don't like to watch myself perform or hear myself back, but like I don't know, it's just kind of really sweet to hear my voice coming out of a little purple unicorn.
Is it very similar to you, or does Violet sound a little bit different?
She's similar to me, just probably a bit higher since I was a bit younger. I think I was pitching my voice up just a bit because she kind of has this very high-pitched, I don't know, I guess that's how a unicorn sounds.
Yeah. That's how the unicorn that you created sounds.
Yes, it does.
Is it a show that you've watched and you've enjoyed, or you're just like, it's a job, I did it, I don't really watch Blaze?
So since I hadn't really watched it before that, since I think I wasn't at the same like age range as when I came out, but like I know that one of my friends had actually watched it like when she was younger, and so when I told her that when she like found out that I was like a guest star on one of the episodes, she thought it was like really cute and that her and her cousin were gonna watch it. And so I don't know, it's just like when you hear stuff like that, like doing something that like might have been a part of your childhood or like somebody else's, like just doing something like it, it's really cool because like growing up, like you just watch these things and you don't always like think about kind of what goes into them or what's behind the scenes. And so like now that I'm older and like doing something like that for like younger kids, it's just kind of sweet, you know? Like,
what's one of your favorite shows or Disney movie or animation that you loved when you were younger?
Well, actually, I do have one little story. Back when I was in like my princess phase, I guess.
Yeah, because we all have them. They're very important.
Yeah. So, when I was watching Sleeping Beauty, I was always kind of fascinated with Maleficent's voice, like her character. So I guess I kind of was interested in it back then, and I would impersonate her. And so, like in that scene when she's told like she's not invited, and she's like, "Oh dear, what an awkward situation." I would, because I had my little like child lisp, I would always say, "Oh dear, what an awkward situation."
Oh, that's so cute.
There's just some very like cute videos of like my mom holding my hair and like these little horns, and I'm saying it, and it's just really kind of hilarious and cute to look back on. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's a great story. I feel like you should share that on your Instagram because we would all enjoy it. But I do think that that's how, I didn't act professionally when I was a kid, but the first play I did, I was maybe 4.5 or 5 years old. I did The Sound of Music, and, I can sing. I just haven't, kept it up. But I think that, those little stepping stones and making impersonations or imitating our parents' friends or whatever, that's what's kind of getting us into, well, having a good ear, being able to imitate, being able to sing, hit a high note, whatever, but also just create characters, the fact that you liked Maleficent and were trying to imitate her is really cute. And also, it's what's getting you into your performer self, you know, for when you do start playing evil characters and you have to put on a voice, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, and you will play probably a lot of characters that sound like you because that's where it all starts, you know? Mama Penguin is a version of me. She's just a little more worried and with a slight Hispanic accent because Pedro is, I don't know if they're from Chile or what country they're from, but I've made that up in my mind. I don't know. But that's what it is, you know, having an active imagination and be like, okay, this is probably what it is.
Yeah.
And then you also worked on another animation called Super Wings.
Yeah, so, oh my god. So, I did a really long time ago, and I had to do an Italian accent.
Mom, what's going on behind the scenes? What's happening? She's like, uh-oh.
So, it's just, well, first of all, I'm really young, so, like, it's kind of funny hearing it, because that also came out, like, a couple years or, like, a year or something later. So it was funny to hear my young voice, but also, like,
oh my gosh,
the accent is, it's not great, but it's very funny to kind of, I know, I was very proud when I was doing it. I thought I had, like, the best Italian accent in the world, so it's, like, very charming, I guess, hearing it now.
Did you try to recreate it for me right now?
Oh, I don't know. I was, let's see,
I'm Galilea, I'm going to talk like this.
It was like, what was my name? It was like, I'm Galilea, and it's like this very cute, and like, you know, the accent will like Peter and Peter.
Yeah.
Whatever, I'm trying to say.
Peter out, I got you, yeah.
And it's just kind of wavering, but it's kind of very cute.
Look, we have all done that. We all have roles where we go and we're like, what was I thinking? And I'm sure it's way better than you are saying it is. And I'm sure it was also a really good characterization. Like, sometimes accents aren't perfect, but the character's there. It's got soul, it's got feeling, and that's what's important, you know? I play a character that's Brazilian for a video game, and I know there's a lot of Brazilians who don't like it, but I also know that the writers chose me because they knew I was embodying the character, and I was connecting to her soul and her life, you know? And sometimes that's more important than the accent being super, super, super perfect. So don't be too hard on yourself. So what's a day in the life of Yara like? I know that right now it's summer vacay, correct? We haven't gone back into the school year. But when there is school times, like are you auditioning in the afternoons? You know, how are you split? Now, are there more voiceover auditions now than film and TV ones or theater? Like, how do you manage this as someone still in school? Because I started doing it once I was out of school.
I definitely say, like, I'm definitely recording more voiceover auditions than anything else. Like, I'll have them, like, very frequently. In terms of school, I can be, like, very busy, so it can be hard to find a time. But I feel like voiceover, again, has just been the one thing that's, like, the easiest to me to keep up because, it's still, like, a commitment and, like, you should be in it as much as you would in an on-camera thing, but it's not the same of, like, oh, you have to set up a whole self-tape, you have to, like, pick out an outfit, you have to learn all the lines. It's in that way, it's less time-consuming, so it's very easy to, like, fit into my school schedule, but, you know, it's just...
And so when you record the voiceover auditions, are you setting up with mom, getting help, or you're like, I know how to do this and how to record? Do you get a little bit of coaching? Do you read together?
She definitely is the one who sets it up. I don't know. I mean, like, I feel like I could if I had to, but, yeah, so she'll, coach me. Yeah, so sometimes if it's, like, a very scene reading thing, she'll read it with me just so I have kind of that, like, idea of, like, another person with me, but otherwise it's just, you know, kind of me in front of the mic and my mom giving me, like, notes through the door. Yes.
So I know that your parents are artists, or I don't know, as a hobby or as a career, but they're very artistic. Were they theatrical? Do you feel like you've got this acting vein from one side of the family, and does it come easy to them to help you with self-tapes?
You need more than a drink. You need an oh so delicate balance of creamy, fruity, and refreshing. You need real black tea blended with flavor-packed ice cream and sorbet. You need the new iced tea freeze, only at Baskin-Robbins.
Stuff like that?
So what's funny is like both my parents were like in this.
Useful tips for your useless dish.
My masterpiece.
It's on the money. Switch to Spectrum Internet and TV.
Like world, but before I was born, like they stopped. They're like not really like in it. Like they'll do it as like a hobby, but it's not like their job. And so what's weird is like they never really kind of talked about, I guess, when I was younger. So
yeah,
I'm not sure like kind of where it came from. I mean, but yeah. So both my parents are pretty artistic. Like again, my mom paints. She's like pretty good at voiceover too. She can make very funny voices to crack me up.
We gotta get her an agent. Talk to CESD.
Put her on the spot. No. And then my dad's definitely the more musical side. Like he plays piano and now he's like doing guitar too, and he can like hear kind of more musical things.
Wow. Do you practice songs with him sometimes?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I'll ask him for help. Like lately, I don't know. I've just had time, so I've been like trying to learn pieces on piano. I don't know why, because they're way harder than because I don't play piano. So they're
it's tough.
Really hard, but I just.
But you play the ukulele, correct?
I do. I play like guitar a bit and ukulele a bit. Yeah. Yeah.
I definitely wish I had learned guitar earlier. I can dabble, and I'm not great, but I'm like, if I'd only started when I was like 10, then I'd be better now. But we always say these things, you know?
Yeah, no, I have to get better about practicing. I'm very bad about practicing.
Well, look, you're doing a lot, though. I mean, come on, you're Ridley. I think you can take it easy and relax sometimes, you know? What are you doing when you're not pursuing acting? Like, what do you like to do with your friends?
Actually, with my friends? Well, since it's summer, I like to go to the beach and, I'll boogie board a lot. And me and my friend have tandem surf, which is, we're on the board together.
Oh, cool.
If it wasn't for her, I don't think I would have ever surfed in my life, because it's one of those things I'm kind of it's fun, but I'm not sure if I want to do it. And, I think it was maybe last year she kind of just was just do it.
Yeah.
And someone was holding the board because we were out pretty far. If I did that on my own, I'm not sure I could, but I feel like it was kind of a fun way to surf. And yeah, but I definitely love boogie boarding or maybe swimming at one of my friend's house. And free time, lately me and my mom have been trying new recipes because we've been kind of sick of eating the same thing, so we've been cooking a lot more. So we're making new breakfast, new lunch, new dinners, and I don't know, it's very fun because I like to cook with both my parents, and so it's kind of a good way to kind of start cooking, I guess.
Yeah. So I have a question. Are there ever any moments where you're like, oh, you have someone's birthday party, but then, oh, you have a self-tape due tomorrow? Have you had to I'm going to reshift stuff, or for the most part, they give you 2 days to do a self-tape, or you find enough time so that you can enjoy, if you were going to do a dance class that afternoon or whatever, and you could just kind of shift it around, or sometimes are you I need to send this in, and so, it needs to happen.
Reschedule maybe a couple times, but I feel like I generally have enough advance for voiceover or self-tape, or if I record the voiceover in the morning, I can go over to my friends later. It's never been very dire, oh, which one do I do? I feel like if I have to reschedule, it's not the end of the world, or I'll just let my friends know, oh, I have this on this day and this on that day, so can we maybe meet this day?
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
That's cool. No, because sometimes they just hit us up so last minute, and you're you want the opportunity because you never know what's going to happen. But oh my gosh, so much to do as a young actress. Wow. Seriously, congratulations. This is such a big deal, and I know Ridley's been a hit and all over the world. I just saw a translated version of Dudley into Portuguese for Brazil. Did you see that?
Yes, I did. So what's really funny is on Instagram, I was DM'd by the French Ridley. And I was so wrapped up in it coming out, like I forgot, oh my god, it's gonna be like dubbed in other languages.
Yeah.
And I kind of find it funny because I feel like we sound pretty similar, and it's funny because, like, at school, I take French, so I was like, ooh, I can pretend I know French. But, yeah, and then I think there's a lot on Netflix, and then I've also seen trailers for other languages, so it's just, like, really kind of cool to hear it in, like, different languages that are spoken all over the world.
Yeah, that's crazy. I haven't watched the whole thing. I do speak Portuguese, so I'm curious to see how they've done the whole thing. But I felt like Dudley was very similar, like also because he's got such a specific thing going. But that's got to be fun, definitely, to see your character in all these different languages. I know you do accents, correct? You do a French accent and a Russian accent.
Kind of. I feel like any accent I can do for maybe like a phrase or like a couple sentences, but I feel like after a while it starts to kind of like, I start to maybe like lose it a bit, or like Russian and French I'd probably say are harder, but like, I don't know, maybe like a British accent I could do a little bit, but
you had to, for theater or for an audition, do a British character?
Oh yeah, no, I feel like I had to do things where I've had to be like British before, or I remember there was like one where I think I had to do a New York accent or maybe like a New Jersey accent.
Oh my gosh, what do? Do you look up something on YouTube?
Yeah, so I'll usually look up like a couple different videos on like maybe like this vowel sounds like I can like hear it, but at the same time when you speak it over and over again, and then you also have to like look at your lines and kind of like find the places where like that vowel may be, or kind of where like that accent should be heavier. Yes, it's like not easy though, so like I have so much respect for people who can like just switch between accents really easily and it sounds very authentic, because it can be very difficult.
Are you learning another language in school right now, or?
Yeah, so I'm learning French.
So that should help a little for your future French accent.
Yes.
That's super cool. So is there anything that you can tell the viewers right now of other stuff besides Ridley that you've been working on? Not that you need more. Ridley's huge. But I do like to let them know, hey, you can keep up on our Instagram to see future stuff, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, definitely. There's a couple of things that, like, I can't say, obviously, that are coming soon. So, like, I guess kind of keep an eye out, because I'll probably be talking about those soon.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. No, for sure. Like, sometimes we can't. There's a bunch of stuff I can't talk about. Every once in a while you can. So Danny's going to put your Instagram in the chat in case anyone wants to give Yara a follow and see what else is happening. But I do encourage Ridley Jones because it's so beautiful. And the music is stunning. Who sings the main theme?
Oh, what was her name? It was, Laura Patton? Lauren Patton. And wait, what was the musical she was in? Why am I blanking on everything? She was
Jagged Little Pill.
Jagged Little Pill, yeah.
Oh, cool. She playing Alanis in that? I haven't seen that musical.
I didn't either, but like this theme song's so like energetic and really well done. I'll catch myself singing every one now and then. I'm like, how is that in my head?
So I've been singing her song in my head as well. Yeah. The theme song of Ridley. Yeah. I don't know the Jagged Little Pill stuff.
Yeah.
So I do this fun thing at the end of our hang where I thank people who have subscribed to my Twitch channel, and I ask my guest if they can thank them in a funny voice.
Oh.
You can make it up. It can be a terrible Italian accent, or it can be a high-pitched princess accent. Whatever you choose.
She has the funny voices.
If you want to peek in, because we've been hearing the voice of God throughout this whole.
The voice of God, yes.
Guys, this is Stephanie, the lovely supporter of Yara's talents. I do want to congratulate you because not all kids have supportive parents that help their kids pursue what they want to. And I think if my parents hadn't encouraged my theater and weirdness in life, then I wouldn't be an actor right now. And not everybody has that support. So it is so beautiful that you guys are so artistic and that you traveled for 6 months with Yara. So all of that is just, it's incredible.
If we didn't kill each other through that or the pandemic, then I think we're good.
Yes.
And you are setting stuff up, the equipment, driving her to recordings and stuff. Like that's time consuming, but it's incredible
nice
support.
Part-time job, but it's kind of cool to have that front row seat to what's going on. And she was saying, like, both of us have some background in this, but not in her time. We didn't see this coming because it did seem. I mean, you seem shy a lot of times, and then all of a sudden she got on stage. We're like, what is that? But at least knowing what this world is about, I think we went into it very eyes open, but being able to be supportive. And I was never this focused when I was young. So, I mean, if she didn't have that focus, we also wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Luckily, she's not a diva. We also. Wouldn't do it if she was.
The new total support pouch from Hanes can help you achieve balance. Vista mesh panels for perfect separation and support. Secure, separated, supported. Find your balance. Vista new total support pouch from Hanes.
I can tell she's not a diva. Absolutely.
Jason, did you know Geico could save you hundreds on car insurance and a whole lot more?
Cool.
So what are you waiting for? Michaela Maroney to get your frisbee off the roof?
I'll get it.
Whoa.
Here you go.
Thank you, Michaela.
Dude, get it. I'm not getting it. You get it. You threw it. It's your frisbee.
Geico. Switch today and see all the ways you could save.
Also, though, she's so eloquent, and that is thanks to the upbringing, parents, grandparents, the surroundings, and like every question I've asked you, you've just answered with such eloquence, and you expand on all the interesting subjects. So I really, really appreciate it and commend you both because it's been a really interesting hang session.
Thank you. I feel like can get so nervous at interviews because I'm like so worried I won't know what to say.
Well, you better prepare, darling, because you're gonna be a star. No, but seriously though, like this has been awesome, and you have really awesome answers to my questions. So please don't worry, you're great. Let's do some shout outs. Does that sound like a plan?
Sure.
Okay, we have a and you can do it together, separately, whatever you want.
Okay, all right.
We got a resubscription from R2ZZ. So you could just go, thank you, R2ZZ, or whatever you choose to do.
Do you want to do it, or should we do it together?
Let's do it together. Ready?
Okay, 3, 2,
1.
Thank you,
Guys, this is the most dynamic duo. I love it. We got a cheer for 100 bits, and he or she or they are positive vibes.
Okay, positive vibes.
Should we do Dante voice?
No.
No?
Yes!
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Man.
Thanks, positive vibes, especially because it kind of went with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, actually.
You just need a little beanie. And this is the most generous subscriber gives out community gift subs, and they gave out 5 tier 1 community gift subs. Their name is Cyber Sifrado.
Oh, thank you, Cyber Sifrado.
Yes, I love it. And then the last subscription is from Magical Hobo 72.
Magical Hobo 72.
Magical Hobo 72? Oh, thank you, Magical Hobo 72.
Thank you so much. This has been lovely. Stephanie, I think we need to.
Do a UK voice for that one.
I know.
Oh, please. Yes.
Be Hermione. We love when you're Hermione. Come on.
Thank you, Magical Hobo 72.
That was great. We need to get you a voiceover agent, Stephanie. What's holding you back?
She does good at like really character-y voices.
Actually, way back in the day, back when I lived in Chicago, I did do some voiceover. It's so fun with her getting into it, and now we have the equipment. Sure, why not? You know?
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
I think you know somebody who knows somebody. So next time you're in a session, you just show up and you'll be like, "Hello, Christy, how are you?" And then just kind of let them know, you know, that you're good at that, and then they'll be like, oh, maybe we're gonna write a panda bear that talks like that.
With me though, I don't know. She might not want to do that.
Yeah, right. You're like, Mom, let me. This is my gig. To close off, is there some piece of advice that somebody gave you that you've held on to that helps you stay sane while you're pursuing this crazy career, and that gives you hope, and you know that helps you move forward when sometimes you didn't feel great about the audition, or you think you maybe didn't book it, you know?
Actually, I remember someone. This was recent, but I remember someone saying that like, it's not like rejection, it's just silence in the voiceover world, because your voice, it's like there's a character for you. You're maybe not the character, but your voice may not maybe fit the character you're auditioning for, but there's a character that is you out there, and there's nobody that's going to be able to play it except you, and so you kind of just have to wait until it comes, I guess.
Oh my gosh. Like, this is what we all need to hold on to, because we audition for so many things, and we do sometimes take it personally and think we're being rejected, but it's just science.
Yes.
Guys, take that home, run with it. Usually we have about, there is like an active viewership, but this three or 400 people cycle through. So, you know, I'll let you know the stats later. But thank you so much for joining us. This has been a pleasure. The chat has been enjoying and commenting and going, oh my gosh, she's so young. Oh my gosh, she's so cute. And it is an inspiration for people that want to do this and have maybe been a little bit scared to try. So thank you for coming on and sharing your story with us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes.
Absolutely. Guys, keep booming and booping. We're live, we're live, oh, oh, we're live. That's my live dance.
Very nice. I'm prepared. I feel like, okay, I'll just do it.
Yeah, whatever, you know, it could be this. Guys, I am so psyched to have Frida Wolf on today. Welcome.
Hello, thank you for having me. This is, like I said on Twitter, this is the only crossover Loba and Sombra will ever have, so enjoy.
Yes! This is crazy. We have similar colors. Apparently they sound similar. Sometimes I've been told. And the Loba is darkish and Sombra is darkish, and it's all just good stuff, right?
Everybody loves a good revenge story.
Yes! So I was thinking about your last name, and is it just this coincidence that you play Loba and you're Wolf?
Yeah, there was a callback, like I did normal audition from Home Submission, and then there was a callback at Warner Brothers Studio with the Animaniacs Tower and stuff, where it was a bunch of us in the pool, and then they picked me, and it was typical. I didn't know the company. The game was codenamed. The character was codenamed. Like, I had no idea. I didn't know what she looked like till like the second or third session. So, and I'm sure the team already knew all that stuff. So that's on them. Just a weird. The whole Wolf Loba thing is something that just happens to follow me. In this instance, complete coincidence. Very funny. I'm sure it had nothing to do with my casting. At least it hasn't been. Respawn has not used that in promotional whatsoever. So that's on them. But yeah, it's pretty funny. So that's obviously my father's name, but like my mother's maiden name, my grandmother's maiden name is Lopez, which comes from lupus, Latin, which means wolf. Like,
oh, cool.
It's a thing that follows me for some reason.
That's amazing. But did you switch Lupus to Lopez to Wolf, or it's...
No, like my Mexican name, so in Mexico, you have all of your names, meaning like your mother's maiden name is attached to the end, and your middle name is on everything. So like my name in Mexico is Frida Maria Wolf Cruz. My mother's maiden name is Cruz, but her mother's maiden name is Lopez, which is Wolf, which they love pointing out to me growing up. So it's just a goofy, like, at least it could have been Weasel, or... Well, no, badgers are cool. I don't know. It could have been some other less...
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, you wouldn't see 3 of them on a t-shirt. But for some reason, Wolf. So yeah, I'm not complaining, but it is bizarre to like play. It's weirder when I've been like, I'm in an animated show that isn't out yet where there's a character called Frida, but they didn't give it to me.
You're like, no!
Or like I auditioned for a Frida, and that's a little weird just because it's a rare name, especially in VO. I don't know of any other Fridas in VO. I'm sure they're out there. So yeah, just a very strange quinky dink.
Yeah, it's a quinky dink. I want to tell you that there are almost 130 people watching, and it hasn't been this busy in the chat in a while, and I have to attribute it to Miss Wolf in the chat. Do you prefer pronouns she?
I'm she's.
Okay.
Thank you for asking.
Yeah. And I'm just really excited because they're here to see you and ask questions, and they're so freaking excited about Loa. So, but I want to get into all of the stuff because you didn't start as a voice actor. You worked as a video game developer for 12 years.
Yeah. So I don't know how people survive in America with student debt. Unless if you come from a very wealthy family, you can go to college, and if you don't, you take on loans and you never get out of it. So I maintain the smartest thing I ever did was when I was 18, I did 3 semesters of college at UNLV. I'm from Las Vegas originally, and it was $3,000 a semester for a local resident student, which I paid for myself with my part-time job. And I was just sort of like lost. Like I did the first 2 semesters were political science. I wanted to be a political campaign manager. And then I interned for the, at the time, Republican governor and was like, well, I'm cured. Never mind. And then I did 1 semester of opera, but I'm not like the strongest singer. And it wasn't, I don't know, I just wasn't moved by it. And I was 18. I graduated school a year early. And I just got an offer to get my foot in the door with EverQuest, which is a game that most people in the chat weren't born yet for. But in 2001, it was like, the World of Warcraft prior to World of Warcraft, it was at the time the biggest MMO on the planet. And long story short, they had their first fanfare, which was the equivalent of, again, before BlizzCon, of a fan gathering. And they had some organizational hiccups, and I just did what I do, where I got on the forum and I was very loud and I organized and I told people to be here, there, and everywhere. And someone from Sony Online approached me and offered me a job as a game master, which is customer service. Back in my day, in the early 2000s, there weren't college programs for game design. The Art Institute of Phoenix was the very first school that had a program for game art. And that was in like the mid 2000s. Like, this shit didn't exist. If you wanted to get into games, you got on the ground floor and you did one of three ways: as Q&A, quality assurance tester, a customer service person like me as a game master, or a technical support person. And then eventually someone gave you an opportunity to get into game design. That is how you did it. And I just happened to get in at 18. So I spent 2.5 years in customer service, 1 year as a VP's assistant, where he was like, my only problem is I don't know what to do with you because clearly you're being wasted doing expense reports and faxes. And then finally at that time, they only opened an audio department because EverQuest 2 at the time was the most ambitious VO project to date, which in hindsight is adorable, because they were like, we're going to have 100,000 lines of dialogue, which if you look at the stats of any Game Theft Auto, that is cute. But at the time, like, there are to this day voice actors, casting directors who still have trauma from the, like, casting directors had to get in the booth to do voices because they maxed out all the voices that utility actors were doing in town. It was that crazy.
That's so crazy.
Right, and because of that, they opened up an opportunity in the audio department. They needed someone just to implement VO because they couldn't keep up. So I applied and I got it. And after like 2 years of that, they let me, again, you did it from the inside without any degrees because the schools didn't exist. There was like Full Sail University and like Vancouver Film School, but again, like money. And they just let me do it from the inside, being mentored by a lead sound designer. So I became a sound designer. So I was a sound designer for 9 years of my career, and then the climbing up for 3 years. And I did that till I was 30. And then I got fired.
Holy cow!
Yeah. And then I got fired from my last job, and I was sort of like in the...
Congrats! That's an important thing to get fired. It means something.
You know what? I saw some other voice actors just like dogpiling on a thread the other day with like, yeah, me too. There is this sort of common thread. I assume it also extends to other actors. If you're a performer of any kind, I think it was like, is his name David Harbour, the guy who plays the cop in Stranger Things, the big dude?
Oh, I don't know, but yeah, sure.
You know what I'm talking about. So he
yeah.
did an interview recently where he talked about like his advice to people who want to get into acting is don't do it unless you have to. And then if you talk to people who are performers, they're like, yeah, you either can't have a plan B or you don't have a plan B, or you just don't have an applicable skill set. Like you just couldn't hold down a real job anywhere else. You absolutely should not do this unless you have options, right? And so it's interesting. I saw a thread a while back, people talking about how they only tried VO when they just had nothing left to lose, when they were super burned out, when they just gotten fired, when they just like hated themselves and life and their last job. Like you have to hit like this really shitty low point where you're just like, life can't get any worse. I have nothing left to lose. Fuck it, let's try. So that's where I was. I was in like my darkest pit of like game industry burnout, working with game designer burnout, a lot of like misogyny there. And VO had always kind of been, not always been in the back burner, but what happened was for the 4 years leading up to that point, I was casually going, I lived in Irvine at the time, which is like an hour and no traffic in the middle of the night and like 2.5 hours in peak traffic.
Middle of the night, absolutely, yeah. That's where Blizzard is, yeah.
Yeah. So, I did a tour of duty as a Blizzard wife at the time. And I worked locally at Obsidian and Turtle Rock and whatever. So for 4 years, almost like an unintentional college degree, I was always going up back and forth to LA, casually taking Upright Citizen Brigade classes for improv, taking voiceover classes, not to become a voice actor, but because I was consistently being put in positions at various different studios in charge of helping with casting and scheduling and audition specs and just like all these things. And then for some reason, the studios would like, this started with for EverQuest 2. You know how I mentioned that was like my foot in the door, being the voice implementer? Well, eventually there was so much recording in town. They sent 24, I turned 24 in the studio. 23, 24-year-old me to Burbank, put me in a hotel for 2 weeks to co-direct sessions with like legends like Mona Marshall, who remembers me to this day. Mona Marshall is Kyle's mom. Like, well, Kyle's mom's a big fat bitch. That woman was like a legend in VO world. I was co-directing people like her. They had like, there's always like a full-time booth director and then the client director. That was me at 2324. And I've always been sort of like a deep dive nerd where if I'm put in a position, I just need to like do all the Googles and all the sponging, because I don't want to be in a position where I look like a jackass, because I know I can like screw everything up. Maybe it's an insecurity thing, but I just want to be a knowledge sponge all the time. So I just thought,
that's a great thing, guys. Take notes. Be a knowledge sponge.
Well, you should. And also, like,
yes,
like, it doesn't matter what your career world is. The second you decide you know everything, you're dead. You're dead. Quit. Retire. There's no point. There's nowhere for you to go. Yeah. You know everything. Quit. Right? You'll never know everything. So I was just casually, with no pressure, nights and weekends, hiking up from Irvine to Los Angeles, taking VO classes and improv and all this stuff, just so I could better understand what I was asking actors to do. And, you know, now that I'm like 9 years into this career, some of like the best experiences as a voice actor is when I'm being directed by actors.
Because they understand how to click in.
They know what they're doing to me. They know exactly what they're doing to me. And they wouldn't ask me to do anything that they're not willing to do or comfortable to do, right? Yeah. So, like, I've had this, I always think of it as just like it's a sausage assembly factory, like conveyor belt where I've been like on both sides of the glass, and I have a pretty good understanding of how the sausage is made. And we were, just before we went live, we were talking about how game dev has resulted in me getting game voiceover jobs, and like the easy assumption is like, oh, it's because you know people. No, the people I know make me audition. What happens is if you're a voice actor who knows anything about games, and there's just no excuse, you don't have to